Hey everybody, this is Roger Mendoza. My wife across the way is Carol Ann Mendoza. I don't know if her picture's on there. If not, you probably see her name across, but we are Blue Diamonds from the Wesley Chapel, Tampa, Florida area. And we do these amazing oil talks, which we kind of love. We kind of started this last year in November or so, and it kind of like catapulted to 42 people now, which is really cool. So the oil talk, we do the first and second Monday of every month. And then we also have a biz talk the third and fourth Monday. Oil talks usually in the beginning are the promotional oils, which this month, make sure you don't forget about it, which is Breathe, of course, for the product of the month. And we also have the Try-Ease, right? The 10% off, which we can't do without sometimes because, you know, springtime is here and it's here to stay for a long time, especially here in Florida. It's almost like all summer long until the fall comes. But apart from that, you know, this particular topic that we're going to be joined, Dr. Hodge will introduce later. It's all about pet care, which is pretty cool because pet care is something that we sometimes are asking questions and we look in forums and we look at blogs and we look at everywhere else to actually find the answers. But luckily enough, we have somebody on our team that can explain all that. So just to go off of the biz talks that we were talking about earlier, there is, for the people that are doing convention later on this year, there is going to be a convention on the budget on the 16th of April, which is also a biz talk for those that are interested in the business side of things. And also on the 23rd, if anybody is interested in how to get started with the doTERRA business, I'm going to be doing a getting started 30-minute biz talk on how people get paid, how to do a class, and how to do some basic things to get started into the business. So let me go ahead and introduce Miss Ileana Navarrete. She is one of our goals. She's going to go ahead and introduce Dr. Hodge.
Hi, everybody, and I thank you again for getting on tonight. Yeah, I'm really excited, even though I just have a guinea pig, but I'm really excited about Pet Talk because I know all the questions that you guys always have on Facebook are really great questions, and there's a lot of not a lot of information out there concrete, but I'm excited to have Dr. Tim Hodge, who's part of my team. And he's been practicing veterinary medicine in Tampa since 1995, focusing mostly with dogs and cats. He has 2 dogs and 1 cat, and they reside at one of his hospitals. And he also has a cockatiel that resides at the other hospital. When he's not taking care of people's pets or his, he enjoys traveling, which I really enjoy seeing on his Facebook posts of his traveling, great food, reading, and learning. So with you, I will leave Dr. Tim Hodge and he can go further into the pet care. You can go ahead and unmute yourself, Tim, and take it on over.
Great, thank you, Ileana, and welcome everybody to tonight. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the topic for tonight and that I'm able to impart some essential oil tips and uses for pets and pet care. So without any further ado, we will get started here. I'm gonna share my screen and bring up the, I've put together a little display for you guys. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. So basically, essential oils and pets and pet care. I'm going to try to touch on some of the topics again of safety, which I think is probably one of the biggest concerns for a lot of people, especially when you see a lot of the posts on Facebook or you read different things on the internet. There can be quite a bit of conflicting information. So I'm going to try to do my best to clarify some of that for you tonight, as well as give some examples of some of the uses of the essential oils and, you know, specific therapies for why you might want to consider those for your pets. So again, like Ileana was saying, I'm a practicing veterinarian in Tampa. I've been here for 23 years. My practice, again, focuses mainly with dogs and cats, but I do some exotics, so a few birds, some pocket pets. But I try to bring to my practice an integrated approach to veterinary medicine. And by that, I mean using the most effective traditional Western medicine, surgery, and diagnostics, but also bringing in acupuncture, herbal medicine, essential oils, therapy laser, all of those other ancillary services that can be beneficial for pets, not sticking to just traditional drugs and surgery. So I did just want to put in this little disclaimer that, again, because I'm a practicing veterinarian, any of the information I'm giving you tonight is, again, for educational purposes. I am not here to diagnose, treat, or basically tell you what is wrong with your pet. That is something that you need to seek, further advice, from your regular veterinarian if you have any questions or concerns otherwise. So why are essential oils used? And of course, a lot of this for using in people and yourself, but why would we want to use them for our pets? Well, one is we know they're safe. We know they're effective. So with that safety and effectiveness, we know that we have an option for helping these pets that is basically mitigating side effects for some of the other traditional type medicines or therapies that, may not be in the best interest of that particular pet. If we think about it, with all the homes that have pets, all of the homes that have people that use essential oils, and the low level of reports of side effects or toxicities, then that alone tells us there is quite a bit of safety that goes along with use of essential oils. For me, it's just another tool in my toolbox. So again, like I said, it gives me another way of treating a pet's conditions. So it gives me another thing to go for if I don't want to do medicine, like certain drugs, or if I think an essential oil is going to do a better job than a certain drug or a medication, and again with less side effects, then that's definitely going to be in my toolbox to pull out and use for that pet. Also, using essential oils lets you do what's called multimodality treatment. That basically means that if a pet has a certain issue and one treatment might be an option, or 2 treatments, or 3 treatments. So different levels of therapy can be provided by using different treatment options. So I might use essential oils and acupuncture. I might use essential oils, acupuncture, and laser therapy. So it's just that multiple options for treating a certain condition. And then as of late, with essential oils becoming more familiar and popular, clients are actually requesting it. So they come in with questions, they bring in print-offs from the internet and want to know, is this safe? Can they use this for their pet? And is this a natural solution? Again, we're all looking to be more conscious about taking care of ourselves and our pets. So this is just another natural solution for that. So again, a lot of this you guys probably already know, but just generally the effectiveness and safety of essential oils, they have to be pure oils. The oils that a lot of people purchase that have, again, synthetics, artificial chemicals in them, they may have herbicides, pesticides, not true therapeutic grade oils, that's where you're going to see more side effects. That's typically where more complaints come from, is pets that are being treated with essential oils that are not therapeutic, or almost what we would consider, medicinal grade. Then, of course, the species of the pet, that makes a big difference. Dogs, of course, different than cats, different than horses, different than, Ileana's little pocket pet. They're all going to be, they're all going to be a little bit different as far as how you treat them, what oils you can use, what dilutions, which ones are safe, which ones are not safe. Then, of course, we have the application methods. So again, just like for people, the diffusion, the topical and oral routes, all of those are acceptable for pets with certain restrictions. So again, we just have to be conscious of which restrictions those are. And that kind of just goes into the amount of oil being used. So for a very young dog, a puppy, or a seniorly elderly pet, you want to use less oils, more dilution. For a middle-aged, healthy dog or cat, then you possibly can go with higher levels of essential oils and more options for treating a certain ailment. Maybe you're going to diffuse and do topical at the same time. So that makes a difference. Like I said, the age, any other medical conditions that pet might have. So are they diabetic? Do they have seizures or seizure prone? Are they on certain medications that might be interacting with the essential oils? So again, those are all factors that we take into account when recommending a certain essential oil. And again, that's something that if you're looking for reference, online or trying to find information that is acceptable for your use, then you want to take that into account as well. And then the last thing, again, is just the knowledge of the oils and potentials for misuse. Again, a little bit goes a long way. These are very strong, powerful products we have at our disposal, and it really does not take a lot to be effective, especially in our pets. So cats, let's jump straight into those because they seem to have the worst time when it comes to what you read about and hear about online for use of essential oils. And I think people just really need to stop comparing cats to other animals, to other species, because a cat is a cat and their unique metabolism is perfectly normal for them. So people say cats are deficient, cats lack this, cats lack that. That may be true if you're comparing them to another species, but in the individual cat, that is perfectly normal. Their ways of metabolizing drugs, toxins, oils are totally different than most other species. And we have to pay respect to the cats that they do have alternate pathways for metabolism. Everything does not go through the liver. So there are uses for essential oils in safe and effective methods. With cats, we just got to be cautious about which oils we use and how we're using them. The other big thing with cats is they have a different elimination time. Dogs, people, other animals, the elimination times are typically much faster, and drugs and oils will be eliminated from the body much quicker than in cats. So again, we have to take the cat factor of time when it comes to using the essential oils. And then again, the last thing is just in the absence of just that gross misuse and overdose, essential oils are, again, quite safe for cats, sticking to, certain guidelines. But a lot of the problems with cats just comes from people possibly using too much, too quick, and the cat's having some issues or reactions. So that little asterisk back there, if you'll remember, I said almost everything is safe. It kind of depends, on the method. So cats, again, if we're diffusing oils and most of the blends, generally most of them are safe. But if you're diffusing, you want to leave them an escape route or an exit room where they can get away from the diffuser. Because again, for most cats, that's probably the ideal way of using essential oils is diffusion. Topical and internal uses on cats, definitely doable. But again, cats typically will do much better with the diffusion method. And again, we're always going to stick with safe oils for cats. So of that list that you will see there, mostly, again, a lot of the citrus oils, a lot of those that have the phenols in them are the ones that cats typically have more concern or problems with. So we want to be safe with those oils. It's not to say that you can't diffuse a citrus oil in your house. I diffuse citrus oils at the clinic with my cat, and she's totally fine with it. But again, you just want to err on the side of caution, always. So again, those are some of the oils that we say, generally we're going to avoid using those topically and internally. Diffusion, more than likely for the cats, they're probably safe. And then we have to think about what about our dogs when it comes to diffusion. So again, dogs typically tolerate a lot more oils and a lot of different methods a lot better. So most of these oils and blends are very safe. Again, the same thing if you're diffusing, leave them an ability to get out of the room if they don't like the smell of the oil or the scent. If your pet is crated, and you're wanting to use a diffuser, then typically we recommend start with the diffuser in a different room in the house first. Start with a very small amount of essential oil, maybe just 1 drop in the diffuser. And then over time, gradually move that diffuser closer to where the room is that the dog is being crated. As long as the dog is not having any potential side effects or reactions, then it should be okay to, diffuse those oils if the dog is crated, for just small periods of time. Maybe it's something you want to use for like a calming effect when you're going to leave the house and you're concerned your dog might develop some, anxiety over the fact of being left. Then yes, some of the calming blends or soothing, grounding blends can definitely be used. But again, start slow, move the diffuser in a little bit at a time to give that pet some time to acclimate. And generally, if they tolerate the oils at that low level, then you probably are going to be fine with using those. So again, every pet is individual. They're just like us, where 10 people may have no problem with an oil and the 11th person might. That can happen with pets as well. So again, for dogs, we again typically want to avoid topically the Melaleuca or tea tree oil and wintergreen, again, just because of some of the more potential for adverse effects. And then again, just caution with any of the hot oils. They can be used, but again, you really want to dilute heavily. So oregano, clove, cinnamon, just be cautious with using those. Start out heavily diluted. And then if the dogs tolerate them fine and don't have any side effects, then you can slowly increase the amounts. Most of the time for any of these oils we're using, generally if you're doing them neat, you're probably never going to go over, just a few drops. In most pets is going to be max amount that you need to use. So typically, again, if we're going to watch out for these side effects, mainly you're going to be watching to see, do those pets have any drooling? Are they salivating? Are they acting anxious or irritable? Are they rubbing or pawing at their face? Do they have any vomiting, GI upset? All of those can be signs that they are having some sensitivity with the oils, and then you want to try to avoid, stop using the oils at that point, stop diffusing, stop any topical applications, because again, the pet may be having some issues with reactions. And then this is a big slide with a lot of words. Basically, it just talks about some of the final safety notes. Again, we're going to dilute for topical use. Know your pet's status of their health. Don't use oils in the eyes, in the ears, in the nose, around the genitals or the private areas. You just want to be safe. Again, a water diffuser, of course, is always recommended, and pets should have access to be able to leave the area if possible. Again, we say caution around pregnant animals, nursing animals, any animals that are on certain medications. If you're using the reference materials that says caution, do not use with pregnancy or use with caution in humans that are pregnant, use that same caution statement for your pregnant pets. That's always the best option. And we know that a lot of these oils have complementary effects. So if there's a certain oil that you shouldn't be using because your pet might be pregnant, there's probably another oil that does a similar job and similar mode of action that is safe for pregnancy that can be used. One big thing is if you're using any of the topical flea and tick medications, do not apply a topical essential oil at the same time, because the topical flea and tick preventatives actually have a vehicle molecule in them that allows to speed their absorption into the skin and into the body. And if you're putting essential oils on at the same time you put a flea and tick preventative on, you're going to get more rapid uptake of the essential oil as well. And potentially we're going to have some side effects from that. So again, try not to put them on at the same time. And if your pet is on any dermal or topical medication, that again is going to speed the absorption, you just really want to be cautious with that. With any of the products that contain xylitol, that would be a lot of the beadlets and the toothpaste. Xylitol is toxic to the liver. It takes a very tiny amount to really push the liver into liver failure. So definitely avoid using the toothpaste in your pets, and any of the beadlet products that contain xylitol, do not use those. And then again, we want you to observe your pet's behavior. Watch for any of those potential side effect signs that I had mentioned earlier. If you see any of those, then definitely you want to, if it's topical, dilute, with a carrier oil. Try to basically thin that oil out so that you're going to slow the absorption. If you're diffusing, of course, turn off the diffuser. Watch your pet again for any of those side effects, and contact your veterinarian if your pet, is not responding appropriately by turning off the diffuser, or there's, being sensitive to the topical use. Then definitely contact your veterinarian right away, because again, we want to make sure we're taking care of these pets, trying to, not hurt them while we're trying to help them. And then this was one that people talk about a lot, and it's really the use of Melaleuca. So Melaleuca and tea tree oil, everybody wants to know, is this safe? Can I use it on my pet? Can I use it on my dog? They have a skin condition. They have some other issue where I want to use Melaleuca. And we always say, err on the side of caution. Is it safe? Yes. When used properly, it should be safe. Again, dilution is the key. So just this little statistics I put here for you was from the Animal Poison Control Center over a 10-year period. And they basically looked at reports of Melaleuca toxicity. And these toxic dosage ranged anywhere from 0.1 ml up to 85 mLs. So that's anywhere from 5 drops up to 5 bottles were used on a pet. That's not right. You definitely do not ever want to use that much oil at any time for any pet. So even some of those really low doses, like that 0.1 ml, could have just been a very sensitive pet that's sensitive to that particular product. So in the reports, they showed that, someone injected IV Melaleuca essential oil. Well, of course, that pet, did not do well and passed away from that. And then another case that was reported to the SPCA was a miniature poodle that roughly had about 2 bottles worth of Melaleuca basically applied over a 3-day period. Well, that dog definitely became toxic and passed away. So we definitely can see a lot of side effects from Melaleuca. It's one of those that, again, it's better to err on the side of caution. If there's another oil that you could use instead of that one, probably go with the other oil instead. In the reports that came from this 10-year period, no cats actually passed away. They were in the problem group that did have side effects, but none of the cats died from Melaleuca being used. And again, toxicity with diffusion, there was no reports that diffusing Melaleuca caused any side effects. None of these cases, none of the 443 cases were in diffused applications of Melaleuca. So diffusion, probably a good go-to. Topical, again, dilute. Some of these same signs are what you're going to typically see with any oil reactions. But again, Melaleuca, you're going to watch out for the depression, listlessness. Is the pet showing weakness or wobbling in their legs, mainly the rear legs? Or are they having any twitching, stumbling, rash, because again, the oil can sometimes irritate the surface of the skin. Are they drooling? Are they salivating? And again, know that symptoms of toxicity or potential reaction with Melaleuca, can develop within just a couple of hours and may last for several days. So of course, the higher the dose, the more you use, the more potential you're going to have for side effects. So then as a general rule, we kind of talk about dilution and amounts. So again, general rule is you're going to start small, move up. 1 to 4 drops mostly is about all you're ever going to need for most pets. Now, again, this is not talking about horses or some of the farm animals, which may use quite a bit more of the essential oils. But in diffusion, generally, you're just going to use 1 to 4 drops. Start small. You can always work up. If you want to use the essential oils in drinking water, always provide a separate bowl of water. One bowl that has no essential oils, and then the bowl that you do use essential oils with. And again, you want to make sure these are essential oils that are made to be taken internally. They should have that nutrition label on there that, again, states that they are safe or considered safe when taking internally. So for a lot of pets, we'll tell people start with a very small amount. Just a toothpick dip into the oil bottle and then swirl that toothpick into the bowl of water. And that for a lot of pets is enough essential oil that you're starting the therapy and you're allowing them to become accustomed to the oils, and you're seeing that they're using that water bowl that has the oil in it. And then slowly over time, you can move up and add more. Cats typically, again, they generally will never go more than 1 drop of oil per liter of water. They just don't like the taste. It's bitter for them, and a lot of them will salivate or drool. So again, with cats, slowly work your way up. Start with that toothpick method first. See that they're accepting of it, and then you can slowly move up. But you probably won't get past 1 drop or more in a liter of water for cats, because again, they just typically don't care for the taste that much. And then again, if the pets will allow you to add the oils further, you can slowly work up and start with that toothpick method in their food. Again, little bits at a time. They will, and some pets actually like some of the oil. Some of the oils have a pleasant flavor or a taste for them. So some pets do actually like them. But again, start slow, make it a positive experience for the pets. Always, promote them with treats, petting, lots of attention that, they know that this is something that's going to be good or beneficial for them. With oral, again, most animals typically don't like it if you try to put the oils directly into their mouth. Some dogs will accept if you put it just in their little cheek area. You can actually just drip the oil 1 drop into their cheek area. Some dogs will allow that, and especially larger dogs. But typically, if you're going to give oral, it's probably better to put it in a gel cap if you want to try to give it that way. And then the pets, of course, they're taking the full dose and you're not having oral toxicity. You also can use the oils on your finger, and then you can just basically rub it into their gum tissue or their cheek area. They will still absorb that oil right through their cheeks or the inside of their gums, and they will get that same beneficial effects from the essential oils that way. And then again, many cats, will ingest small amount of oils. Again, if you start very slow and if you hide it in, some food that has a really good ability to kind of mask or hide some of the other potential tastes, cats will accept that as well. But again, very small amounts to start with. And then we talk about topical application. So direct application is where, again, you can use it neat or diluted. And again, for cats and small animals, you're going to dilute quite heavily. And that's where you do direct application. So if you're treating joint discomfort or you're treating a single area of skin irritation, then you can apply directly to that spot and know that you're only having to treat that one localized area. Probably the most effective way for pets, though, is the petting application. So basically with petting, it's just like for us. You put a couple of drops of the oil or the blend that you're using on your hands, rub your hands together, and then you pet your dog or your cat with your hands. You just pet them along their back, up under their chest area, along their sides. Most pets actually enjoy this, especially if it's one of the oils that has like a really nice scent to them. Then they will actually enjoy having this done. And the hair follicles actually wick the oil into the skin. And then of course it gets absorbed inside the body and goes systemically. So you're not always having to put the oils directly on the skin. You can just pet the fur and the pets will absorb that oil through the hair shaft and into the hair follicles. Some people have talked about using oils on the very tips of the pet's ears or on their foots and in between their toes or their pads. Those are definitely options to use, but a lot of pets don't like that. They don't like their pet toes being messed with anyway. and now you're going to be putting an oil in that area. So it may not be their favorite method of application. And then of course with the ear tipping, some pets again are just very sensitive to that, tipping the oil on their ears. And of course for any long-eared dog, floppy-eared dog, where they might shake their head and then actually potentially get that oil in their eyes, you definitely don't want to do it with any long-eared or floppy-eared dogs. So avoid putting the oils in that area. And then water, oil, misting, so water spraying and misting also can be a very effective area. This is probably one of the best ways if you're using it for birds. Again, because birds have a very unique respiratory system. So you just really want to be cautious around using the essential oils with birds, but you can definitely mist the essential oils because again, the dilution we're going quite high with the dilution. And again, slowly you can increase that over time, but again, you just want to be careful. And then the last way with topical application is actually adding the essential oils to the pet's shampoo. Or if you're having any medicine or ointment that you're having to put on, and it's a safe oil to use in that area, in that location, you can add a lot of that to the ointments that may already be prescribed for your pet's application, because again, you might get some enhanced ability because most of the ointments are already going to be oil-based anyway. So you're adding the essential oil to that, just like you would a carrier oil. And then basically, let's try to get into some of the good stuff now. Talk about some of the recipes and some of the uses for these oils. So basically, I put together just a few slides, I think about 5 or 6, that kind of go over just some general recipe use and different reasons why you might want to use these oils and their blends. So we would consider seasonal respiratory threats. So just like for us, where again, springtime occurs and we have more seasonal threats outside, and some of these pets will show respiratory signs, then this is a perfect blend that you can use for that. So again, just in your 2-ounce sprayer bottle, you're going to put lavender, lemon, peppermint, and frankincense. You can top that off with some distilled water or the fractionated coconut oil. Shake it up really well, spritz that along the chest or the spine kind of as needed, maybe once or twice a day. And then of course you see the ones on there to eliminate for cats, again, just because of their potential for absorption of these oils. And of course cats groom themselves so well, they can't absorb these oils orally just through the grooming process. So you do want to eliminate the lemon and the peppermint for cats. And then we talk about seasonal threats that affect the skin. So if we need to support the skin during some of those seasonal threats, again, this is a good recipe to use. Again, using this in a sprayer bottle with the lavender, the Roman chamomile, cardamom, and the arborvitae. Again, applying this with the distilled water or the fractionated coconut oil. And again, you can spritz this on the skin to the affected area, or generally if your pet is having these seasonal threats and it's affecting their whole body, again, you can apply this, along the back, along the chest and the underside, and basically kind of wipe that or pet that into their skin for a little bit more effective use. Again, just the same cautions about where you're putting any of these. Again, with the nose, the ears, the genital areas, you just want to be cautious because those are more sensitive areas. And then let's talk a little bit about lumps and bumps, because these are very common occurrences mostly for dogs, more so than for cats, but cats will get them as well. Just with lumps and bumps, because we know of their potential to be something benign or something nasty, always have them checked by your veterinarian. Again, rule of thumb, any lump or bump that's greater than a P and has been present for more than 30 days, you do want to have your veterinarian check that and make sure they know exactly what that lump or bump is, and if it's something that needs to be further treated or if it's something that can just be monitored for that potential pet. But following that, and if there is no concerns with that potential lump or bump, then this combination of essential oils can be very helpful in reducing those lumps or bumps. So you have the frankincense, sandalwood, the arborvitae, and the wild orange, again, omitting that if you're using it for cats. And again, same thing, you can apply this to the lump or bump and give this some time and see if that actually can help to shrink those lumps or bumps. A lot of pets with this application, those lumps or bumps can start to shrink up and potentially just go away completely. This is a recipe for outdoor repellent. So this is, again, for your pets if they're going outside, taking them hiking, going for nice dog walks, and we're concerned about the potential for pests bothering those pets. And we, again, want to try to stay with a more natural option for them. Again, this one, now you make this one up in a much bigger spray bottle because, again, we're diluting it even more. So this is, again, we're using lavender, geranium, cedar wood, the arbor vitae, eucalyptus, again, which you don't get for cats, and then your apple cider vinegar and just 1 drop of dish soap. And then again, you can apply this in the spray bottle and spritz this over the pet. Just a light coating is enough to repel any of those outdoor pests. You can also consider oil substitutions with some of the other blends as listed, and then just spritz your pet, of course, when you take them outside or before you take them outside. Muscle and joint support. So again, very common with pets as they get older. They're going to start to develop some changes in their muscle tissue or their joints, and they're going to need some help with that. So if we want to use the essential oils for those areas of support, then again, this is a good blend that can be used that has positive effects for the health and the repair of that area of tissues. So again, with this one, we're going to be using frankincense, myrrh, helichrysum, cypress, majoram, copaiba, and peppermint, again, not for cats. So copaiba has probably become one of my new favorite essential oils, and using it for pets because there's so many potential options and reasons why that oil can be used. So again, using it for muscle and joint support, it's a great addition to the use of these other oils. And then again, you add that with your aloe vera juice, top it off with some distilled water and fractionated coconut oil, and then you can apply that to the affected areas. You can rub that or massage it in with your hands. Again, generally the pets like that because it's a nice therapeutic massage, as well as they're getting the benefits from the essential oils. And then we talk about what can we do to help calm some of the emotions. So for a lot of these pets that have anxiety issues or stress, they don't like to leave the home. Maybe it's needing to get the cat into the carrier before you go on a trip. Then again, this is a nice option for those pets where we can use the lavender, cedar wood, the vetiver, frankincense. Again, this can be combined together, put on the pet's bedding. You can put it in their carrier. You can actually apply it down their back about 15 minutes before you're expecting any of those high stress events. Of course, in Florida, we have a lot of thunderstorms. So definitely that's a good reason to use this. Holidays where there's 4th of July fireworks, New Year's Eve fireworks. Again, this is a nice calming application of the essential oils for those pets. And then tummy upset. This, again, is a super common issue. We see lots of pets that come in on a daily basis with upset tummy, and they may not be feeling well, not wanting to eat, having some GI distress. So for us to support their GI function, soothe their tummy, calm their belly down, then again, this is a great essential oil blend for using that for pets. So we're going to basically use our ginger, peppermint, coriander, fennel, and myrrh. And again, we're going to top this off with the fractionated coconut oil or the distilled water. You can spritz that and massage it onto the belly. I've used some of these oils for my personal pets when they have an upset tummy, and generally have found it to be very effective, and they actually do not mind having it on, don't mind the smell, have been very receptive to me using the oils for that. And then at that point, the GI issues resolved, just within a day or two, and no other specific medicine or therapy was needed. So that's kind of my presentation for the essential oils, for pets. So if anybody has any questions, I would definitely want to do my best to try to answer those for you. I know someone had asked earlier, again, about conflicts with what you read online and how to know what your best sources are. So typically it's going to be ideally veterinarians that have experience with using essential oils. There are a few of us out there that, are available on Facebook or on the internet that, can be contacted for information about essential oils and pets. A lot of the Facebook groups that exclusively for essential oils for pets, especially if the administrator or moderator has a lot of experience in using those essential oils, then that's also a good resource to use as well. So it's always better check, double check, and check again just to be safest, for those pets. Then somebody else had asked about car sickness and motion sickness for pets. So again, the peppermint can be actually diluted and applied right to the belly. So that can help with calming down a pet with motion sickness. You can also use the digestive blend as well, because again, some pets will get some benefit from that use for motion sickness. So that's kind of my tip for right now. If there was anything more specific.
Hey, Tim. I took notes of a couple of the questions I saw in the chat. And one of them was the xylitol toxic in the dog's liver that you mentioned.
Yes.
Would that also apply to us?
No. Xylitol is not toxic to people. And as far as we know with pets, xylitol is the only toxic sugar. So any of the other artificial sugars or sugar substitutes generally do not have toxic effects like xylitol. So definitely avoid xylitol because that one, it is deadly and it only takes a little to cause a problem.
Great. Another question was if you had any thoughts on oils that can help a cell tumor. Is that something that you can talk about, or is there treatment? I don't know.
So again, it depends on what, again, the actual type of lump or bump that it is. Because again, some of the oils are going to be more effective with certain types of growths. Typically, again, I think everybody goes to, and I do this one as well, a lot with using frankincense, because we know it has a lot of effects against those types of growths. So I would try to stick with using, again, start with frankincense. We can also, like I said, with the other slide on the lumps and bumps, consider that whole blend that can be applied, topically to that affected area. It kind of depends too on what the owner's follow-up care is going to be. So if there's something where they're thinking, okay, for that particular growth, I'm going to remove it, surgically, then it may not be the best case that you're going to apply oils now. Maybe remove the mass and then use the essential oils afterwards to, try to prevent or delay the occurrence or to help the healing effects after surgery. But it kind of depends on, where it is, what it is, how big is it, and what are the owner's, follow-up treatments for that pet going to be.
Okay, so I would say I think it was Tamara, maybe follow up with a vet that can give you a more precise for your pet. The other one was the spritz that you mentioned. Are you able to spray those in a dog's ear that is irritated?
So we don't recommend putting any of these oils or the blends into the ear canal. You can definitely apply it on the outside of the ear, along the jawline, up under the ear, on the top of the head, above the ear. But ideally, we're not going to put any of these oils down into the ear canal. Now, it is possible if the pet doesn't mind, you can use that same spray and maybe spritz it on like a cotton ball and then gently dab or wipe the surface of the ear, so the little ear flap, But again, don't put any of the oils down into the ear canals, even any of the diluted spritzes or blends. We don't recommend they go into the ear canal.
The options that you gave us, the recipes, can those be used also for us humans?
Yes. Yep. So there's pretty much all of those, again, unless you have certain issues or sensitivities with those oils and using those recipes. Yes, those all can be used for people as well. I think a lot of these recipes and blends that we come up with for pets probably take a lot of their usage from human application to begin with. So it's kind of like we're transposing our use for the pets and their use for us. So it should be perfectly safe.
Okay, those are the ones that I had written down. I think there's more.
All right, I'm gonna call on a couple more people. I know we don't want to stay here. I know Dr. Hodges has a lot of time on his hand, don't you? All night long?
Sure, I could be here all night.
All night?
No, you can't.
I know everybody, this is like an awesome, amazing topic because this is like the most we've had so far, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's great.
But I'm going to call on a few people that did raise their hands just to make sure that everybody is out there, make sure that everybody follows the disclaimer that he put out there because he might not be able to answer your stuff and fully like super compliant or non-compliant, I guess if that's the right word, but make sure that you know he cannot diagnose or treat anything. So when you ask your question, keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to call on Jacina.
Yes, you said it right. Yeah, you said it right. Thank you. Hey, Dr. Hodge.
Hi, Jacina.
The question that I had was for the anxiety, because my German Shepherd has anxiety.
Yes.
I have the Serenity oil. Would I be able to use that, or no, there's extra things in there that the dogs cannot be around?
No, Serenity, you can definitely use the Serenity for pets. There's no problem with using that. So again, if I was recommending Serenity, it might be one that I would actually use for, again, the petting application. So again, putting that on your hands and then just petting all over, your pet with that oil. Again, when you're putting it on your hands, one of the things to remember that if you put it on, you rub your hands together and you quickly pet the pet, you're giving them a lot more oil versus if you put it on your hands and then you let it evaporate a little bit and then you pet, you're getting an actual lower amount of the oils applied. So again, that's where we'll typically say for small animals or sensitive pets, the elderly, you want to let more of the oil evaporate off your hands before you apply it. One other thing I was just going to mention quickly you can do with Serenity also is you can actually put it on if they have like a cloth collar. You can actually apply the Serenity to the collar, and basically the collar acts like its own mini diffuser and just travels around with the pet wherever they go.
Oh, okay. Now, is it safe to diffuse around them?
Yes.
Okay, because I was trying to look at something else, and my 10-year-old loves the smell of the peppermint and the lavender, but I told him I wasn't sure if we were able to diffuse that around his little hot dog,
Right. So yes, for dogs, almost all of the oils are considered safe when diffusing. Again, we typically, will say just stay away from the Melaleuca just because of the potential for there to be an issue. And then again, wintergreen, some of the stronger green or fur type oils, probably, you just want to be cautious with those. And again, start small. I know when I diffuse, here with my pets, I've used, the Siberian fur, I've used, the Melaleuca, and they've done totally fine. But again, every pet is unique and every pet is an individual, and we have to take into account their own physiology of how they're going to process those. But generally, if you're starting small in your diffuser, again, leaving them an escape route that they can get away from the oils if they don't like them, I think with most of those, you should be fine.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to take just one more, and then Miss Eliana is going to do a giveaway. Yes?
Cool.
You right, Miss Eliana, going to do a giveaway? Can't hear you. Yes?
Yes.
All right, one more. All right, we're going to have, I don't know who Samsung SMG892A is.
That's me.
Who's me?
This is Lillian Austin. Hey, Roger.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for this. Doctor, I have been doing our fur baby as a rescue. She's a 70, 75-pound pit bull. She's been a doTERRA oil dog for these last 5 years with great success.
Wonderful.
2-part. One, I have been following the dilutions that you would for children and infants when I've been helping people. Is that a wise route to follow? Because that's what I've been recommending to my friends and family.
Right. Yes. And I think that's a good rule of thumb to try to stick with as well. So if it's generally safe for, young children and infants, then those dilutions are generally applicable to pets as well. Like I said, just again, really be cautious with some of the hot oils and just around cats. Those are the main things. That's a good choice.
My second part to this, because you didn't mention pests, internal pests like worms and that kind of stuff.
Right.
What I've been doing with her is I do like 1 or 2 drops of digestion, lemongrass, and peppermint. I dilute it with FCO, and I apply it to her abdomen, and I do that for a couple of days, like once a month, once every other month. Do you have a better suggestion?
So that actually is a very good recipe that you're using already. Again, the digestin is one that has been recommended for some of the internal problems that with parasites that you're trying to regulate or control. We say it's better using oils as a preventative for parasites than it is actually as a treatment.
Right.
Typically, if they have a parasite, you want to go with the traditional deworming type, therapies, to get rid of those parasites, and then using the oils like you're doing, single or in blends, just to have a good, healthy GI tract, and then you're less likely to get those parasites again.
So you think doing that for a couple of days, once every month or 2, is frequent enough?
You may want to increase the frequency a little bit more. Ideally, probably about once a month.
Once a month.
A little bit better. Yeah. Just again, we know the life cycle of the parasites. So in knowing how quickly and slowly some of them produce, ideally about monthly is probably going to be the best course of action.
Thank you so much for all this wonderful information tonight. I appreciate it so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody, for being on. I know we were able to, what it sounds like, answer most of the questions, even the heartworms. Roger, I know I'm supposed to be doing a giveaway, but you're supposed to pick the person because I don't have that.
All right.
But I have the 5 ml of lavender, and Roger will pick someone.
Is there a Karen Jones? I just scrolled my thing down. I'm like, is there a Karen Jones?
Oh, I thought there was something more.
Is there a Karen Jones on?
I see a Karen. I don't know if she's on.
He says here.
Here. She said here. She's alive.
You gotta unmute yourself, I think. You have to say hi to us at least. No?
Well, she's chatted hi. Oh, she's
Okay.
unmuted.
She did say hi. All right. So just send us an email to wellness@theoilfamily.com, and then with your address, your name, and what are they going to win? Again, lavender?
Oh, it's a 5 ml lavender.
5 ml lavender. So look forward to that. As long as you send us an email, we'll go ahead and send that out. I'm going to go to stop the recording really quick, just so we can talk a little bit.